Welcome to the Flora podcast, a place where we help you create a life you're excited about. Welcome back to the podcast. I hope you're having an absolutely epic week so far. Earlier this month, I flew to southern Florida on a very last-minute trip, and normally I book business class or coach because, quite frankly, I like to spend the extra money on my adventures, not on a flight. However, this time I decided to fly first class for the first time ever, and I wanted to share with you a few things about my experience that was a little unexpected. So first off, we've got boarding. Now, typically first class and premier members board first, as well as people with an active military ID card. I already fall into this category since I'm a veteran of the Marines, so this was not anything new. But sitting in 1A in the front row of the plane was new for me. It was nice. There was lots of leg room. Although, again, this is not new because I'm only 5'4", and typically I usually have a lot of leg room regardless of where I'm sitting in the plane. The seats were wider and had fabulous lumbar support, so that was also a plus. But again, being petite, the seats are normally pretty comfortable for me. Next, while the plane was boarding, I looked at everyone as they boarded the plane. Some made direct eye contact, while others didn't even look around at all. They were just really focused on getting to their seat. Naturally, I am a people watcher, so it's awesome to experience this from the front of the plane instead of the middle. While there was a lull in boarding, the stewardess asked if I would like any refreshments while people were boarding, and I had a bottle of water, so I declined politely. Once the plane was fully boarded and we were off the ground, I noticed how much quieter it was from where I was sitting. Now, I normally sit directly over the wings when flying, which is actually quite loud because the engines are literally right there. So this made it so much easier to take a nap and to focus and to have conversations while I was in flight. Once we were at cruising altitude, we were served drinks in actual glasses, not plastic or paper, so that was cool. And then they came around with a giant basket of snacks and sandwiches, then more refreshments and more snacks. And this was a little bit unexpected. I didn't even think about the snacks and the refreshment aspect of things. I usually always bring water. They usually always come through the cabin in the back, for a drink or whatever. But again, I usually have my water. I don't like to drink extra carbs and whatnot. So, but the fact that it was this giant basket of snacks and sandwiches, I was like, oh shit, okay, sure, when in Rome, So that was actually kind of nice. I really liked that. Now, during the middle of the flight, I got up to use the bathroom, and just to note, bathrooms are the same in coach as they were in first class. I don't know what I was expecting with the bathroom. I guess I didn't even really think about it. Once I was done using the facilities, I decided to walk to the back of the plane and then walk back up to my seat really slowly. I don't know why I did this. It was just an intuitive hit to do it. So this is where it gets interesting. As I was slowly making my way up to the front of the plane from the very back, I noticed that about 95% of the people were on their phone, playing video games or watching movies, and the other about 5% were sleeping. In the front cabin, or the first class cabin, everyone was either reading, journaling, or having a conversation with the person next to them. No one was playing on their phones or watching movies. For some reason, this really surprised me. I don't know why, but I was like, oh, wow. I mean, it was just a stark, vast difference. So I sat back down, and when I sat back down, I was offered another refreshment. And I took out my journal, and I wanted to write down this observation. I started to think about my circle of friends. Most of us are business owners and highly successful people. Most of us rarely, if ever, play games on our phones. And we're typically always reading an educational book of sorts, whether it's for self-improvement, personal development, or a book about business or money or whatever topic that we're currently trying to master. And we all have a daily journaling practice that helps us really reflect on life and business and where we can make improvements or shifts. I actually did some research about this. Only about 8% of the population journals. And the most successful people in industries keep a journal or a diary of sorts to review, reflect, and analyze their thoughts, actions, and results so that they can pivot. Now, in episode 49, I talk about investing time versus spending your time. So investing time would be journaling and reading, having meaningful conversations. Spending your time is like playing video games and watching movies. Now, yes, there are times for rest, relaxation, recuperation, and just, purposeful watching of social media and whatever. That's a whole other topic. And in episode 66, I share with you how distractions are killing your dreams. I think both of these are relevant in this context of this episode. So these are both linked in the show notes for you. If you haven't listened to them, I highly recommend that you do. All right, now getting back to the flight. Once I was done journaling, I took a short nap and then got ready for landing. Landing was very different. Typically, I'm over the wings, and touchdown is very smooth. There's only been maybe 2 or 3 flights that I've ever been on where there's been a rough landing. Now, in the front of the plane, there was an abrupt thud when the front wheels came down. And the person that I was sitting next to said, "Gosh, I will never get used to that no matter how many times I fly." So apparently that's a thing that happens when you fly first class, is you have the thud of the front wheels touching down. But overall, my experience, yes, I think I will almost always fly first class from now on, simply because just the profound experience that I had. Who you surround yourself with on a daily basis matters. Do the work to become the person you know that you want to become now, because time is going to pass by anyway. So you might as well direct the change by the actions that you take. Doing this will absolutely align you into the life and a business that you love, that is meaningful for you. So I want you to really think about and reflect on your life and how you're choosing to live it. Are you choosing to live that first class life where you are taking intentional action towards the things that you want? Or are you choosing to just spend your time aimlessly and just accepting whatever results you get? I know this episode is going to bring up a lot of things. I'm probably going to get some privileged comments. I mean, go for it. It was $70 extra to upgrade to first class. So say what you will. But this really gives you something to think about. And I welcome comments. I welcome constructive insights. If you have also done this experiment where you typically fly one class and you flew the other class, and what your experience was with that. I would love to hear your insights. I know for me it was a very profound experience. And I mean, life can be profound if we allow it to. If we really allow ourselves to look objectively at things without letting triggers derail you. I've talked about triggers before. But in any case, I hope this serves you today. I love you, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to today's podcast episode. All links mentioned are in today's show notes.